Tessa Smith with Popternative here, and now that we know The Last of Us Season 2 is coming finally in April, we need to talk about the things that need to be brought from the video game to the screen. Now, I will say that the first season was incredibly faithful to the first game, and really, I expect the exact same thing when it comes to Season 2. I expect it to be very much like The Last of Us Part 2, and let me tell you, for those of you who have not yet played the game, oh boy, are you in for an emotional ride. Now, I have to warn you that this video is going to have spoilers for the video game and probably major spoilers for the series as well. So if you don't want to know, turn it off now, but come back later and see if you agree that these scenes were definitely important and integral to the story of The Last of Us 2, Season 2. Listen, all right, I've given you enough time. Spoiler warning. So, you guys, Part 2 broke me. I cried playing that video game so much. Now, here are the 4 things that I think absolutely need to be included in the series, and honestly, I'd be shocked if HBO didn't do it. Now, the first one, major event, starts at the very beginning. It happened so early in the game, and it broke me, and that is Abby killing Joel, and not only that, Ellie witnessing it, okay? Joel and Tommy help Abby, they save her from infected, and what does she do in return? She beats him to death, and I mean, it is one of the most brutal scenes that I have ever seen in a video game. It is horrible. I was crying, I was shocked, my jaw was on the floor, I didn't know what was going on, I was mad, I was sad, I felt many emotions in this moment, and I am sure when this comes to screen, it is going to be just as devastating, if not more devastating. But then it turns out the reason Abby did this is for her father, who happens to be the surgeon that Joel killed in Season 1/video game 1, right? So the one that he killed in order to save Ellie, Abby is his daughter. That's why. Ellie comes in just in time to watch him be beaten to death. And of course, this causes her to want to get revenge. And it also causes Tommy to want to get revenge. And that is the next thing that I think needs to be included. Now, The Last of Us really does spend most of its time with Joel and Ellie. That makes perfect sense. But I really think we need to follow Tommy on his journey as well, because there's a lot happening with him in this game. He goes down a dark path. He leaves Maria. He decides he's going to track down Abby. And in turn, that causes Ellie to follow with some new friends of hers as well from Jackson. So Tommy goes and we think he dies. We think he gets killed, but actually he doesn't. He does come back. I do think, again, we're going to need to see this. We see him at the end of the game, though, and he's definitely struggling. He has definitely had some issues with life. He is not okay. He is still upset about his brother, rightfully so. And I just think we need to follow Tommy's journey. Absolutely. It would be it would just be weird if we didn't get that in the show. So fingers crossed we do get that. Now that brings me to another important aspect, which is Ellie and Dina's relationship. Now, Dina is with Jesse, this guy Jesse that is in town. I just mentioned their friends, Ellie, Dina, and Jesse. Dina's actually pregnant with Jesse's child, but Dina is also in love with Ellie. They fall in love, and it makes it a little hard for Dina to leave Jesse, but I guess thankfully, I don't know, Jesse ends up dying. It's very sad. And then Ellie and Dina have this relationship. They're able to be together, and it's very sweet, and I like it a lot. Now, I will say, after all the craziness that goes down with Abby, Ellie ends up getting beaten damn near death. And then you see her find a farmstead. She's at a farmstead with Dina. Then they cut to like 18 months later, and Dina has had the baby. They named it JJ after Jesse and Joel, and they are happy together. But Ellie continues to be worried about getting revenge for Joel, right? I mean, Abby nearly killed her, and Ellie is just like stewing with it. Even though she is happy, she has this wonderful girl, she has this wonderful baby, and she just can't get past it. And when she finds out, gets a hint as to where Abby might be, even though Dina tells her not to leave, she does. She leaves. And I think that's extremely important. And that brings me to what is absolutely important to include, and I cannot imagine they don't put this in The Last of Us Season 2, is that Ellie ends up sparing Abby's life in the end. This is extremely important to the story about revenge, a cycle of violence, etc., etc. So, as I said, Ellie leaves the farmstead. She leaves. And it is sad to see, but then she just goes on this, like, and honestly, you're going to think, like, in the game, we totally thought that was the end of the game. Everyone's like, oh, okay, now it's 18 months later, and she's like, oh, and this is cute, and this is the end. No, it wasn't. There was so much after it that was crazy. So she goes after Abby, and she kills tons of Abby's people along the way, and she gets to Abby, and she's drowning her, and then she has this, like, flash of Joel, this memory of Joel, and realizes this is not the way, and she spares Abby's life. She gives mercy to Abby. And then she returns to the farmstead, and this part of this specifically, I mean, we absolutely have to have Ellie spare Abby's life, of course, for the story, but really, when you get down to it specifically, I can't even say that word, specifically, she gets back to the farmstead, and Dina and JJ have left. The place is pretty much empty. It's just got Ellie's stuff left in it. Ellie sees Joel's guitar. Now, in the struggle with Abby, in the fight with Abby, she's lost 2 fingers, and she picks up the guitar, and she plays it best she can while missing 2 fingers, which is really a sweet moment. I cried. I'm sure I'm going to cry when I see the show, but I really hope they include that guitar moment. I can't imagine they don't. So there you have it, guys. That's 4 major events of The Last of Us Part 2 that absolutely have to be brought to the screen in The Last of Us Season 2 when it comes out in April. I can't wait to see it. I know it's going to devastate me all over again. It's going to be an emotional journey, an absolute roller coaster, but I can't wait to see it. And I really, really hope they include all of these key moments. Now, you guys want the full breakdown of these moments, then you can head to Popternative.com. Thanks for watching.